Hello, welcome to this your channel of the better Eurofan. That's me. It looks like Romania is getting back on track in the competition. After many years being absent from the grand final, the viral and dynamic performance from Urs in last year's contest brought back the hopes in the country, with the idea of keeping improving their results, often finally getting their first victory. We will see now that the artists who had the task of carrying the Romanian colors on the main stage of Liverpool. Here we go. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Romanian entry for Eurovision 2023, which has been represented by singer Theodor Andrei with the song D.G.T Off and On, where the first part is a letter play with the Romanian word D.G.T, which in English translates as fingers. We start by taking a look to his biography and career before embarking in his Eurovision adventure. Theodor Andrei, mostly well known as Theodor Andrei, is a Romanian rock singer and songwriter, coming from the country's capital, Bucharest. He will start to get noticed in 2017, still being a teenager, with his participation in the first season of the Romanian version of The Voice Kids, showcasing his musical and artistic skills, which brought him to the semi-final. That same year, he would release his first and so far only single fully in English, as he would release singles mostly in his mother tongue, Romanian, combining it with English sometimes. Later in 2020, he will attempt to participate in the 10th season of the Romanian version of The X Factor, but unfortunately he did not progress from the bootcamp phase. On the other hand, at the same time with his scores in musical competitions, he also has participated in many musical festivals both in his native country and abroad, in which he has received some awards for his artistic work, and he will finally release his debut studio album on last year. Apart from his musical career, he regularly performs as an actor in Tanderica Animation Company. Theodor has been a huge fan of the contest since he was a kid, and throughout the years he has considered attempting to represent his country as part of his childhood dream. In fact, he tried it in 2 occasions previously, although he did not get selected in both times. We will see now how it turned out what it will be the 3rd attempt for the young performer. As usual, the Romanian public broadcaster will organize what it went to be the 21st edition of the national final Selecția Națională to select the Romanian representative on British soil. For this, a submission period was open between mid-November and mid-December of last year for the Romanian artists and songwriters who wanted to take part in the competition. It was known that 85 proposals were received by the broadcaster, which will be reviewed by an expert panel composed by members from the world of music, radio and television, to select them to the 12 contestants that will compete in the national final, announcing them a few days after the deadline and being Theodor among them. The format will face some big changes compared to last year. The semi-finals will be discarded by only keeping the final show. The contestants will be increased to 12 as mentioned previously, and also the jury will be discarded from the voting process, leaving the decision solely by the public through televoting and online voting. The final show took place on last mid-February, in which all the contestants had the chance to perform their proposals. Then, during the counting of the votes, it was known that Theodor was the most voted artist from the online voting, while he was the second most voted artist from the televote, earning the necessary score to achieve the victory in the competition, thus fulfilling his dream of representing Romania on the main stage of Liverpool. These are love dilemmas told by him from his point of view. It is remarkable to say that the song has 2 versions. The original version, fully performed in Romanian and featuring the fellow Romanian singer Luca Udatian. It is on the track list of Theodor's debut studio album released last year, while the Eurovision version will be specifically remade for his participation at the national final, performing it as a soloist and singing it in Romanian and English. The latter is the one I'm going to analyze as part of his proposal. While the melodic base is mostly in rock, it also blends many musical genres as it has been revealed by himself. While Theodor's voice is truly powerful, as those suitable for the kind of song. The lyrics were initially written by him together with Luca and other 2 songwriters, but for the Eurovision version, he will translate the second verse to English, having in mind to give a different touch to the song, getting inspired on past Romanian entries in which Romanian has been combined with other languages. About the context behind the lyrics, he describes it as a love story where reason is in conflict with instinct, where passion and safety duel. Saying it like this, it could be summarized as a toxic love relationship where there is an S&M part. In that same line regarding the letter play with the song's title, the lyrics come from the Romanian saying "Ayuca pe cineva pe D.G.T", which in English translates as to place somebody on your fingers, meaning to fool somebody. Reading the lyrics in detail previously translated at first, it is portrayed in a metaphorical way that toxic relationship he will have with a girl who physically and emotionally mistreats him, but wanting to stay with her despite of it. More than a message, the song transmits a little disturbing emotional state, in which the good and bad sides of falling in love are portrayed in a quite chaotic context, emotionally speaking. Having reviewed the song, now I'm going to analyze the official music video release for this proposal. First of all, there is an introduction recurring to the old movie style, with his name and the song's title, following up with the performance later. Since the first verse, there are diversity of alternate shots with visual effects, of Theodor playing an electric guitar while he sings, of a girl with a felt doll, of himself filled with red paint, or of his head on the floor, while a heel from a girl is pressing his temple, giving some idea of how toxic it's been in this relationship that's described in the lyrics. By the first chorus, there are additional shots of Theodor, which looks tied up with his clothes stained and dirty, while 3 girls are surrounding him with a chain on his neck. It is more evident in the S&M part here. They are humiliating him like a dog. The dynamics remain pretty similar until the bridge of the song where the scene changes, witnessing to Theodor glued to a car bonnet with tape, while the girl from before is driving the car. Just before the last chorus, there is a pause, where the girl gets out of the car holding the felt doll from before, and immediately later, Theodor is seen running by the road while he sings the last chorus, alternated with the same shot seen previously. There is a vocal extravaganza from him, until there is another pause with a curious scene. The girl is laying on a bed with a blue rose, while Theodor sleeps next to her, and suddenly he is switched on with the felt doll, finishing the performance with the 3 girls, grabbing him from his head while still humiliating him. At the end of the music video, there is a phrase which says, "Tears are the words the heart can express, make love, not war." Quite interesting, this quote, which makes you think about it after having watched the video. Making a summary of the comments, the Romanian entry for this year is a little disturbing to me. Theodor's skills as a performer are acknowledged, but I have many problems with the song, because at some point it is difficult to listen and digest. And note that without thinking about how the audience could take a quite particular proposal like this one. Recalling the staging in the national final, this was presented quite dynamic, also being prepared by Theodor himself. The performance starts with him sitting on a chair, while he writes things on a notebook he has on his legs, while 2 female dancers in black lingerie and eyeshadow shed out in their faces are doing that sort of sexy choreography. Theodor is wearing a white shirt with a black bow tie and sweatpants in black and white, and his hair is also tied up, while there are very extra visual graphics seen in the leg screens. During the first chorus, both Theodor and the female dancers move to the center of the stage, witnessing 2 other guys, one of them playing an electric guitar and the other one playing an electric bass. The female dancer stripped down his shirt to show a black mix t-shirt, while his hair is loose. Immediately after, the female dancers throw down the pieces of the shirt on the stage, and they bring some chairs to the center of the stage to continue performing the sexy choreography. I have to say that the choreography looks creepy with their stiff faces all the time, like tower dolls. It would have more sense to me if they had dominatrix attitudes like in the music video. In the second verse, the dynamic changes a little, as the guys leave their musical instruments on the stage floor to join the female dancers and perform a choreography with them, moving all around the stage. Shortly after, during the bridge, the guys take off their leather jackets being nude torso. One of the female dancers is at the edge of a staircase, while she has the fell doll in her hands, which was later seen in the music video. Theodor and the guys go slowly towards the staircase, and when Theodor tries to lend his hand to the female dancer, she falls down on her back and is held by the guys, taking her to the center of the stage, while he performs the last chorus at the edge of the staircase. He walks down onto the center of the stage while the choreography continues. During the peak moment of the song, they stop dancing, and the two guys strip down the mesh t-shirt to leave him in nude torso, doing the vocal extravaganza at the same time. In his torso there is an inscription made with ink which says "Make love, not war," which is also seen in the visual graphics and much later in the music video. The performance then finishes with the song's title shown in red letters in the LED screen. What can I say about this staging? Incomprehensible and somewhat bizarre. If it was already hard to listen to the song, it was harder to see this staging. I can understand he had the initiative by making it by himself, but at least he could get some advice from a stage designer or from his workmates at the animation company to make it more attractive for the audience. I will say that the public has voted for his vocal skills rather for the overall package of his proposal. For the staging in Liverpool, it could be seen during the rehearsals that it will completely change compared to the national final. He is seen performing the song at first with an acoustic guitar and later moving around the stage with his particular charisma and rock style, with some visual graphics which are not comprehensible at first, hoping it can be understood much more during the live performance. I'm talking about his live performance in the second semi-final. It starts with a wide shot of a whole stage, while the visual graphics of the stage floor are showing many girls laid down or in fetal position above a red background, while some electric guitar necks are covering the intimate parts of some of them, not having cleared the reason of this as they are not naked. This time Theodor performs the first verse with an acoustic guitar, in an unplugged and slowed down turn compared to the original version. I must admit that I was not expecting that, but the background witnessed was becoming quite strange. Theodor's outfit is completely different from the national final, wearing in this case a pink jacket, pink short pants with socks and boots from the same color. Once again, I do not get the fan of using pink for the performance, and everything is getting more confusing. The first chorus is also performed by Theodor in a slow tempo, in contrast with red and white lighting in the spotlights. For the second verse, the dynamic drastically changes, where imagery of Theodor is seen by duplicate, with a lava cascade in the visual graphics, while he performs the song on its original tempo, leaving the stool and the acoustic guitar aside, which are not seen anymore for the remaining of the performance. Shortly after, it is noticeable that the bridge was considerably shortened, and the imagery of Theodor in the visual graphics is switched by two girls in nightgowns doing a little strange choreography. By the last chorus, the visual graphics disappear to show warm spotlights, and he unbuttons his jacket to show his torso. Finally, during the vocal extravaganza he does during the song's outro, a girl appears running from the backstage to stain his torso and clothes with black ink she has in her hand, then closing the performance. As the song ended, I was wondering in my mind what the hell I have been seeing, and who had the idea for this staging, because beyond Theodor's voice that was just flawless, everything else was a total nonsense, because it was too static and nothing was fitting and nothing can be understood, so that was a really bad prediction in his case. In fact, it was much more serious than I have initially thought, as with the counting of the votes, He did not receive any single point, placing 15th in the semi-final, tying up with San Marino, which also did not receive any points from the public, so they technically came last. The result has been catastrophic this time for Romania, being the first time that they received the infamous 0 points in all its participations. What happened to make this debacle happen for the Romanian entry? It has been the combination of many aspects at the same time. First of all, the song itself has its distinctive and different point, but the creative process which Theodor had for the staging at the national final has ended by taking out the value of this proposal. But after the national final, things started to get quite turbid. According to Theodor in a recent interview, he had the intention to modify and improve aspects for the staging at Eurovision, but the broadcaster allegedly dismissed all of his ideas and suggestions instead, resulting in a staging designed exclusively by the Romanian delegation. If it were not enough, he would not remain silent and spoke out against the broadcaster. He protested by the fact that they imposed him a slower revamp of the first half of the song, being in total disagreement with the idea, thereby the reason behind the version of the song we heard on Liverpool. He has said that most of the budget received by the broadcaster was not allocated for the preparation of the performance itself, and even they refused to provide part of that budget to produce the official music video for the song. You may wonder in this case, how did he record and produce the music video then? He actually done it self-financed by himself, despite the fact that the music video was a success among the Eurofan community. This resulted in further tensions between him and the broadcaster, which, according to his statements, in some moment they forbade him from publishing the music video, even threatening with further actions against Theodor and his family. He regretted a lot, stating that his dream of participating at Eurovision turned into a true nightmare with all that happened. In spite of all this, the Romanian delegation have neither confirmed nor denied any of Theodor's claims. If these statements are true, these actions from the broadcaster will be totally regrettable, by leaving him abandoned to his own luck and allowing this proposal to be presented this way. Despite the bitter experience after his journey at Eurovision, Theodor has said that from the whole experience, he remains with the memories of hearing the audience singing his song at the Eurovision pre-parties where he performed his proposal. He has also moved forward with his musical career, remaining determined to be known by his music. In fact, he has released another single from his debut studio album, which talks about how hard he's taking up the criticism and trying to fake the musical industry so complex and so commercial for a bohemian artist as he identifies himself. The official music video, by the way, has imagery from both his victory in the national final and the broadcaster news program announcing the disqualification of the country at Eurovision, giving some retrospective and portraying his own thoughts and reflections after his participation at the contest. And you, what do you think about the Romanian entry for this year? Let me know your comments down below and then we can start some discussion. And this is it for today's episode. Before I finish, give a like to this video, subscribe, enable notifications and follow me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.